answer a few questions, good start, that I've been getting about the amputation. So first I'm going to hit it with one I get a lot. Do I care when people look or ask questions? Not at all. I definitely notice people look, and they especially look now because I'm not even in a prosthetic, so it doesn't even look somewhat normal. It is just a missing foot and half of my lower leg, so it's just not there. So it doesn't even look partly normal. So I definitely don't get mad when people look. It looks different. So people are going to look at that and ask questions, and it doesn't bother me. Like, hey, how'd you lose your leg? Or, hey, what happened? Doesn't bother me at all. I'm totally okay. I think, like, no problem in asking those questions. Other people with disabilities may, I know some feel differently. To me, nah, ask away, look away. I know it's different, so it doesn't bother me at all. Weight of the leg, about 4 kilos. So I weighed myself the day of surgery, and then I weighed myself when I got home. I was in hospital for, I think, 4 nights. And then I got to go home because I was mobilising really, really well in crutches. So I didn't have to go to rehab at the hospital. I got to go home, and then I weighed myself. So yeah, about 4 kilos in the weight of the leg. And so no, I didn't do rehab like at the hospital. I got to come home, and I just use crutches. People ask me if I'm using a wheelchair. Currently, I use a wheelchair for anything where it's a long distance. Lots of walking involved. Anything else, like around the house, I use crutches, and at work I use crutches because I sort of just go to my desk and sit down, maybe go to the toilet. That's about it. Anything long distance, yes, at the moment I'm using crutches. Although my leg feels good enough, so now I can use my knee scooter, which is this like pastel green cool little thing with a basket on it. So knee scooter. And eventually I'm going to get a better wheelchair just for, like, if I ever need to. Healing very well. I am 5 weeks this week, and the incision's looking really, really good. So I will show it in just a sec. So if you don't like the naked stump, watch out. So it's healing really well. I do have to wait just for these last 2 little bits on it to heal until I can get my leg cast. So all the scabs have to be gone. So we are really, really close. So close. So I'm not actually answering any prosthetic leg questions. I'm going to do a whole video on that maybe the next month, because in a month, if it all goes well, I should be up on my prosthetic. It just depends on how this is healing, which is coming up right now. Okay, it's not fully naked. I've still got some like betadine strips, which are these like iodine, so inidine, I think it is, sorry. So it's like betadine strips. So all of here, this is all healed totally. So nice and pink. And then here is totally closed. And then it's closed like in between these spots. So it's just here and here. I'm just waiting on these scabs to heal, and then I can get my prosthetic fit. Also like that's my bone. How gross. So when I lift my leg up, it like disappears. And then when it hangs, that's the bottom of my tib bone. It's kind of gross. But yes, that's how it's looking. So healing very, very well. Hardest thing about being an amputee, that I am lucky because mine was planned. I had over a year of thinking about it and planning it to come to terms with it. So for me, I'd already like mourned my foot. So to me it wasn't working, and this was nothing but an upgrade. I've never seen this as anything but upgrading my foot. So I'm really lucky that I don't have that initial stuff to get over that a lot of trauma amputees do. So even the stump and getting used to it, like I'd already seen what fresh stumps look like, a lot of them, and I was prepared for all of that. So I'm really lucky that I didn't have to go through that initial sort of mental stuff and preparing to see it and seeing the stump and getting used to it, because in my head I was so ready for it and I'd been prepared for so long that like I had already like visualized myself as an amputee, so that helped with all of that. So really lucky that I don't have that initial stuff to go through like other amputees do. So all right, there are a couple of things. Okay, one is the conflicting advice that you get. So from different health professionals. So different surgeons, different doctors, OTs, physios, the lot, they all have like different ideas on how to look after a stump. And it can be really, really overwhelming and really confusing because you think you're doing the right thing. And then somebody else goes, oh, your stump doesn't look good. Oh, you should be doing this, or you should be wearing this on your leg, or you should be doing that. But surgeon A said that I didn't need, so it can be really overwhelming. And looking after your stump is so important, and like I went in knowing how important it was, that I thought I was doing the right thing, and then you get all these different advice and it's a bit overwhelming. So I definitely learned that you had to pick your team. So, like, this is my surgeon, this is my prosthetist, these are the people I'm listening to. This is my team. Like, other advice, like, thank you for giving it, but, like, I've picked my team and I'm just going to listen to, like, these people. The second thing, I'm probably going to say there's probably 3 things. So the second thing is knowing that your ability to walk and get a leg kind of depends on, like, this government service. So you have to, you know, I got told by the PA they couldn't see me for my first visit for, like, 8 weeks. Just even to start shaping my stump, which means that I wouldn't have got my first leg until the new year because, anyway, so I then went to the RBH and asked them. I'm out of the catchment area, but they agreed to take me because they could get me in like 2 or 3 weeks. But it just means getting your leg is now, it's not up to me anymore. It's up to getting into these in line and waiting in these like government services. And then the NDIS, the National Disability Scheme, is wrought with problems, and it's really nerve-wracking knowing that I have to rely on a system to approve that yes, we think you're young and that you should get a leg that can like get wet and go to the beach, or sorry, we're not going to approve that. It's a bit nerve-wracking. So that is a bit of a struggle. It's nerve-wracking because you sort of think going to the beach and getting your leg wet, usually not a problem, but in a prosthetic it is. You have to have a water leg, and being able to, you know, go to a friend's house and shower, go to a partner's house and shower. If they don't have a shower chair and I don't have a wet leg, I can't get the leg wet. So, but I have to be approved. It has to sort of be like, yes, we agree. And it's just wrought with problems at the moment. There's a lot of issues with this service and this system at the NDIS, and there's a lot of horror stories out there. So starting that application is a little bit nerve-wracking, going like, if they say no, you know, like I might not be able to walk on the beach. It might be years before I could get onto the beach because I won't have a leg that allows me to do that. So that is a little bit, you know, you sort of have to go at it ready and prepared, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And the third thing that I think is hard as an amputee is a bit trivial, perhaps, but I'm a girl, so this is a part of life. So dating. I never thought about the leg affecting dating until people sort of started asking me if I was worried about it affecting dating, and then I sort of started thinking about it and was like, nah. But I'm a single Pringle and have been like forever, and I'm on Tinder, right? So guys match me just to tell me that the leg grosses them out, and I've had like physios and OTs match me just to tell me that like I couldn't date you because it would feel like work. So instead of just like not matching me because you're not interested, they go to the effort of matching me to tell me that they couldn't date me because it grosses them out, or the, you know, gross questions about like, oh, how can I have sex with you if you don't have a leg? Like, not sure what sex you're having, but like my foot doesn't play a lot of part in it. But I never really thought about it until I started getting a lot of that. And it was hard, you know, I had someone really close to me make it really evident that, or make me really feel like I can't compete with regular girls right now. So, just made me feel like as an amputee, there's no way that I can compete in the dating world, which really hurt, because right now, you know, I'm like, me with working legs is like active and out every weekend and riding bikes and camping, and like me right now is not like that. So I'm really low key and I can't get out a lot, and you know, I'm not really fun right now because I can't. And the most fun I'm going to be having is learning to walk in a few months, you know, and that's going to be like the most exciting thing. And then like getting to be like, yeah, I walked like a kilometer, I walked up a hill, I did a little bushwalk, you know, they're my exciting things for the next year. And how I was, just being made to feel like, well, you can't compete with other girls though, because that's your life and that's boring. And you know, so that was really hard. And I know that eventually I'm going to be me again, and I know that it doesn't matter, you know, if people are going to be there, they're going to be there for you and who you are, and they're going to like me as a person, you know, not because I don't have a foot. But, you know, you cut off a foot and then people disappear from your life, so you can't help but think, like, nothing else has changed except for losing a foot. So, like, it does have a little bit to do with that. But overall, I'm pretty, like, Miss Positive, but... I said that weird, positive. But yeah, I definitely had a moment of feeling like there's no way that I can compete. And that is a hard feeling. Don't think of it a lot. I did have, that really got to me. Mostly I don't feel like that because I feel like, you know, the right person's going to like you for you. But that was really hard. And I assume that there's going to be more moments like that. They're like, I'm going to have moments like that. And they definitely suck. Work. What do I do for work, and has it affected work? No, my work has been amazing. Really, really, really lucky. So I just started a new role before my amputation. So I am project manager. Woohoo, really exciting. And that is mostly at a desk. So there will be travel involved and like going out to site occasionally and travel to some of our other sites. So big walks through airports are a big deal. I struggle with my old ankle. So once I'm up on a prosthetic, being able to walk through an airport, it's actually going to be possible. I am actually stoked. This is something that I didn't see myself doing when I finished uni, but I am loving, and I would really like to continue pursuing as a career. So I'd really like to get a firm hold on project management and sort of, continue that as my career. And that means a bit of travel and like a bit out to site occasionally, but mostly it suits the leg really well. I can't really talk too much about travel and how I travel yet because I haven't done it because I don't have my leg yet, but I just taking lots of hints from other amputees. Like a lot of people say to sew zippers into the insides like of the seam of your jeans so that you can take your leg off at security or your leg off on the plane if you need to. A little bit nervous about that first like trip through security, and just little tips like get travel crutches so they fold down to nothing so you can fit them in like a backpack, so that even though I'll be up and walking, I can use the crutches to take a bit of pressure off the leg, because airports, from parking to gate, that's a lot of walking. So I'm hoping the first trip goes well, but I'm not really sure yet because last thing that I get a ton of questions about is nerve pain. What does it feel like? It's different for everybody. For me, it's mostly I have phantom sensations, so that is like being able to wiggle your toes and feeling your foot. I also have phantom sensations, which would be like pins and needles across the top of my toes, which is what my phantom pain feels like. So it's like that, but it just increases. So if you've ever used a TENS machine, and you just have it like on a really low level, that's what I feel during the day. That's my phantom sensation on my foot that's not there. And when it's painful, it's like you've bumped it up as high as it can go out of nowhere. So really, really, that's my phantom pain. Feels very much like that. Pins and needly, electric shocky, kind of zingy, like how your surgeon handles the nerves makes a really big difference in the nerve pain that you get. And my poor surgeon, I drilled him on everything. I drilled him on how he handles the nerves. I wanted to explain the whole process. Does he rehome them into muscles? How long does he take for the surgery? If surgeries are getting pumped out in 45 minutes, then the nerves aren't being handled the right way. It takes time. So, I had a prosthetist tell me that, and I did lots of research beforehand. So, I am not surprised that I'm not having too much trouble with nerve pain, because I knew that the person handling them was doing it the right way and was going to spend the time on them. So I take 3 times a day, I take gabapentin, which is like a drug for nerve pain. So it's not like endone, it's not like sort of doesn't knock you out or anything. So it's really good for nerve pain. I'll take that for about 3 months and then we'll sort of start weaning it off. But yeah, it's feeling pretty good. Mostly just at night it kicks up a bit, and that's just like really intense pins and needles, and then it sort of disappears, and then it's like waves. And occasionally I get like a really sharp one up through my heel out of nowhere, maybe once, twice a day, and it catches you. Like by the time it's like, it's gone though. So by the time I notice, it's gone. So I've come up with little tips and tricks. I do mirror therapy. So I lay a mirror over, and my brain thinks that I have 2 legs. So it thinks that the circuitry, like the nerve circuit, is actually complete. So that helps with the nerve pain. And you can do a reading on it, mirror box therapy. It's absolutely incredible to read about. The brain is a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a nervous system thing too. So if I'm really worked up, like at night, if I'm frustrated and I'm worked up about it, and then it makes it worse. So I sort of like calm down before bed, and I like moisturize my leg and my stump, and I just get into this nice routine of calming down before bed, and that makes a really big difference as well, and helps quite a lot. But yes, I can definitely feel my phantom foot and wiggle my toes. It's like when your foot goes to sleep or your arm goes to sleep, like you wake up and your arm's dead, and you can move your fingers, but it's hard, like it's sluggish and hard. That's what it feels like when I try to, like right now when I'm wiggling my toes, I can feel it, but it feels like my foot's asleep and like that it's sluggish and hard to move, but it's just not there. So yeah, they're the main questions that I get I get a lot of other questions about my prosthetic, so I'm not going to answer that just yet. I start the process of getting my prosthetic next week, and if I'm lucky, I could be up on my leg in 4 weeks. So there are some very exciting videos to come of me being Bambi, learning to walk again, and getting to try my first leg on. I'm going to document that whole process, show you guys how the prosthetic's made, all of it, how it's cast, me walking for the first time, the whole lot. So stay tuned, because those really fun videos will be coming up soon. Hopefully, could be 4 weeks, which is really exciting. So I will talk